Good morning, happy Saturday. I just wanted to jump on here real quick. I know it's been kind of random that I've been on here, but I'm reading in my devotional this morning, and y'all, I have got to share this because this is word. This is really hit. It just kind of took me off guard. And here's the thing: the name of this particular day is "I Don't Like Being Caught Off Guard." And yeah, so I was caught off guard. But I wanted to just share this real quick with you. And I'm just going to kind of read it to you and then drop it for you to marinate on. Okay, so in this particular devotional this morning, she's talking about vulnerability, and she kind of starts out the passages or the script, whatever, the devotional. She just starts out sharing how she doesn't like surprises. She doesn't want to go on a roller coaster that she's not actually sat down and watched the other people go on. She doesn't like a surprise party. She doesn't like to have plans to go here. All of a sudden the plans are changed. She just doesn't like it. Makes her feel vulnerable because she can't prepare for it. I can relate to that. And so then she goes down and says things like, life twists and turns and throws loops into places we think will be flat and smooth. And because that's what life does, sometimes it catches us off guard. The vulnerable place reminds us that we have a need beyond what we can manage. That vulnerable place reminds us we have needs beyond what we can manage. Feeling a little exposed and afraid reminds us we need God desperately and completely. Getting caught off guard makes me feel exposed, afraid, and put on the spot before I have had time to think through my response. And in that gap between what we think we can manage on our own and what we can't is right where faith has the opportunity to grow deep roots. Roots that dig deep down into the hope and joy and peace that only God can offer. And then this is where I started starring stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to share this because this is good, y'all. I'm challenging myself to remember my faith doesn't just need to grow big, it needs to grow deep. And that's Jeremiah 17, 7-8. How do we grow deep roots? We grow deep spiritual roots the same way a tree grows deep physical roots. The roots of a tree will never go through the pain and effort of digging deeper until there isn't enough water from the surface to satisfy it. There's water to be found in the deeper places, but the gift of going through the hardship to get to the deeper water is that deeper roots can help the tree withstand thrashing winds from bigger storms when they come. And the storms will come. A tree with shallow roots is in great danger of being knocked down and taken out. We are much the same. Shallow seeking will produce shallow believing and leave us vulnerable to falling. But deep seeking will produce deep believing and equip us to stand firm no matter what may catch us off guard. Deep roots keep us secure in God's love when fear comes. Deep roots anchor us with the truth that God is in control when unexpected hardships surround us like unruly winds. Deep roots hold us steady in God's peace during the storm that didn't show up on the radar. Deep roots find nourishment in God's grace when the surface gets awfully dry. Deep roots propel us to grow stronger in our faith in God that we might not otherwise be desperate enough to do. I'm learning not to be so afraid of what might be around the next corner, even if it doesn't catch me off guard. No, I'm sorry. Even if it does catch me off guard. I close my eyes and whisper to the Lord, deeper still. And with that, I may not be completely ready, but I can be much more steady with each step. I thought that really just spoke to me. I mean, I don't know whether it's because I can relate to the plant part of it. I have lost many a plants by overwatering them because I was just overnourishing them. I was just giving them too much. So their root system never actually was established. And so as they kind of grew, they would flop over, and I couldn't understand why. And so when I read that, I was just like, aha, God, you did it again. And so the same goes for our spiritual walk. We may do all the things that we think is expected. We'll go to church, we'll read our, devotions in the morning and our Bible. But if that's all you do, you are those shallow roots. It's not deep enough for when something major comes, because I've been through major. I know. I thought I was this Christian woman, and I turned out to be, it was just so superficial, because when the rock happened, I tumbled over. So I get it now. I get it now. You have got to dig into God's word. You have got to allow it to grow you so deep that when things of life happen, because they are going to happen, we are told there will be struggles in this life. So when those struggles happen, if your roots are shallow, it's going to win. If your roots are deep and you are at your wits' end, where you have to start digging deeper and deeper and deeper, that's where the stability comes. That's where God's strength, he grows your foundation and he puts those roots down deep in you. You'll be rocked and you'll be blown and you might be tattered and torn and broken, but you will not fall. And that's the big thing, because you can always rebuild when your roots are still in the ground.